You're watching Arkansas Style on KARK.
Arkansas Style, we're back with film critic Michael Cook for another edition of Real Reviews. First up, we have The Friend, a heartfelt drama starring Naomi Watts and Bill Murray, set to release this Friday. The film follows Iris, whose world is turned upside down when her close friend and mentor leaves his beloved 150-pound Great Dane, Apollo. And our second movie today is Holland, a psychological thriller now streaming on Amazon Prime. Nicole Kidman stars as Nancy Vandergroot, a meticulous teacher and homemaker in the seemingly idyllic town of Holland, Michigan, where not everything is as perfect as it seems. All right, Michael, well, I'm kind of eager to hear about these little deals. So how about we start with Holland? Is that all right?
Sounds good.
All right.
Hi, Mrs. Vandergroot.
Good morning.
I look around myself and it feels like a dream.
Yoo-hoo.
Hey, Nance.
It's just perfect.
Please tell me Harry's gonna dance in Tulip Time this year.
Didn't Pastor Bob say the dancing was the devil?
Not Dutch dancing, silly. Just all the other kinds. It may seem like we have everything all together, but right under the surface, it's like we're being strangled.
You know, it's important to me, Nancy, that you feel safe here.
This is really super tonight, Nance. Did you do something different?
Brown mustard instead of yellow. I felt like doing something a little crazy.
Well, this doesn't look good for tourism in Holland, Michigan, I'll say that.
Yeah, it probably might bring it down a little bit to hear. This is, you mentioned on Amazon Prime, Nicole Kidman. I think she's doing every other movie nowadays. Does a lot of work. Good for her. So here she plays a home ec teacher. She's married to Matthew McFadden. They have a little son. They have a seemingly idyllic life in Holland, Michigan, which is a town known for its Dutch influences. Her husband is an optometrist, and at the beginning of the film, she starts to wonder about him because he goes to a lot of like one-day conferences out of town. Like, exactly why does an optometrist go to these conferences? So she suspects that he might be having an affair, and she enlists her co-worker, played by Gabriel Garcia, to investigate exactly what's going on. Who is he seeing, or why is he going out of town? And the movie kind of goes a little bit into the relationship between her co-worker along with her husband, Matthew McFadden. Of course, Nicole Kidman is one of our best actors working today, so I like that she does so much work. But this movie just becomes tedious from the very beginning. As you know, it's not really quite sure what it wants to be. There, of course, is a twist, and we find out what the secret is, and by that time you really just don't care. Even though the twist is somewhat interesting, you just were bored for the whole movie, and I just did not like this film at all, which is why I have to give it a 4 out of 10. I hate to give so low to these two great actors with Nicole Kidman and Matthew McFadden, but this movie, I would just skip it.
Okay, well, listen, note to self and Nicole Kidman's agent, let's slow it down.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
honestly do not need to see her in everything. I love her to pieces. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I watched Moulin Rouge last night.
She's fantastic,
with her.
yeah.
I mean, I can't get enough of her, but now
Yeah,
I'm
let's
here.
take a break, yeah.
And if the movies are not coming out to be very good. Okay, well, 4, that's pretty low.
That's pretty low.
All right, well, we're going on next to Bill Murray.
Bill Murray,
okay,
Naomi
a
Watts, yeah.
Chicagoan. Let's see what he's got going on.
Iris, I need to talk with you. It's about the dog. I wanted to ask if you could take him.
No, I can't. No.
This is what Walter wanted after he died.
Why would he say that?
You were his best friend.
He's there at the top of the hill, between the two bridges, silhouetted against the limpid sky.
You're making this up.
You could have a point. But the fact is the dog magically appeared.
He can't stay. Management company, they are very strict.
Not a problem. I'm working on it. Just a few days.
Bad dog.
Good
That's just great. I just can't keep having him here. It's taken over my bed, and it's getting in the way of my work.
I don't think it's about the dog.
He's in mourning. He lost his master. How would you feel?
Every time the sun comes up, I'm in trouble.
You're not thinking of keeping him now.
Of course not.
Every time the sun comes up, I'm in
You okay, bud? I could feel him missing Walter in the same way I did.
The dog provides essential emotional support.
I guess I saw it the other way around, like I'm the emotional support human and it's the dog that can't cope. What?
I feel like I've seen this movie, this plot before.
Maybe so. Let's talk about it. So Naomi Watts plays a woman living in New York City. She's a writer and also a college professor. Bill Murray is her best friend, who's also a writer. And he, as you see from the trailer, he dies unexpectedly at the very beginning of the film. And he basically kind of leaves her his dog. His wife doesn't want to keep the dog. He actually has, as we learned throughout the movie, he has 2 ex-wives, so he was known as a bit of a womanizer, a man about town. Naomi Watts, before the dog, had just a very quiet life as a writer and as a teacher, but now has this 150-pound Great Dane thrust into her New York apartment, this small rent-controlled studio apartment that the building doesn't let her have. So she's got to figure out, do I get rid of the dog? But my friend wanted me to have her, in dealing with all of these things with the dog. But this movie really is a kind of a meditation about grief and loss and loneliness. Her and Bill Murray were good friends in this film, but now she has to grapple with how he died and how he died so suddenly, but while at the same time having her life turned upside down by this massive dog. There are some ways you kind of have seen this movie before, but I think the acting of Naomi Watts and Bill Murray kind of rises above some of the tropes of the New York City and intellectuals and writers and so on and so forth. It does get a little muddled in the middle, where it's like, okay, let's move along from the dog. I've seen enough of the dog, but just I think it's a very touching film. You will definitely need some hankies, because I sure did. I give it an 8 out of 10.
Ooh.
So still a good movie to watch if you're in that kind of a mood for a little bit of a cry and a little bit of thinking about, life and grief and loss. Okay. Which everybody, who doesn't want to do that on a Friday night?
I can think of 8 bazillion other things I might want to do, but I guess if I'm in the mood for a good cry, this is it.
Exactly.
Oh, shoot. All right, well, good to see you, Michael.
Good to see you.
A lot of fun. Again, The Friend hits theaters near you this Friday, and if you want to give Holland a try, that's now streaming on Amazon Prime. Now, a career in nursing comes with big opportunities, and the state's largest nursing expo is returning to connect you with all of them. Details are coming next. You're watching Arkansas Style.